Greetings and welcome to the Norfolk Historical Society. I'm Executive Director Barry Weber, and today we're going to walk you through our new exhibition, The Romance of Worth, the Eldridge Sisters and the Centennial. But first, let me tell you a little bit about the Battelle family. Joseph Battelle moves to Norfolk, sent here by his father, a successful merchant in Torrington, Connecticut, to set up shop. Joseph marries Sarah Robbins, the daughter of Norfolk's first minister, Ammi Robbins, and his wife, Elizabeth LeBaron. Elizabeth's family came from Plymouth, Massachusetts. She married the Reverend Robbins when she was 16 years old and came to Norfolk as a young bride. The interesting thing about this exhibition is we actually have 200 years of textiles from one family. We start with Elizabeth's 1757 sampler that's over here on display. She was 11 years old when she made this piece of needlework. Also on display is her wedding slipper. The slipper had been imported from France for a very luxurious wedding when she married the Reverend Robbins. The family legend tells us, as she was riding, taking her 3-day journey in the saddle behind her husband and riding up to Norfolk, that she realized such finery would never be needed in the great green woods of Norfolk. So it's reported that she flung one of her slippers into the woods and retained the one that you see here on display. Also, in this case with Elizabeth's sampler is a very fine beaded needlework purse that she created in 1820. The needlework tradition was passed on to her grandchildren. Her granddaughter Sarah is in the portrait behind me. So Sarah Battelle ends up marrying Joseph Eldridge, whose the portrait is also here. So our story leaps off from this point with the children, the daughters of Sarah and Joseph. We're focusing on the two younger Eldridge daughters in this exhibition, Isabella and her sister Alice. So the first textile we come to in this exhibition is actually a dress that belonged to Sarah in the portrait behind me, which is her wedding dress. It dates from 1836 when she married Joseph Eldridge. This is a fine silk gown, damask gown, all handmade, and you can see the detail. There's just a very fine, sort of almost a vermicelli pattern all over this cream-colored silk, and very fine sets of buttons coming down the front of the bodice, down the sleeves, and along the back. It's a very simple dress, and Sarah most likely would have worn a fichu or a shawl to complete the popular look of this gown. Our story really focuses on the two youngest daughters, Isabella, who was born in 1848, and her sister Alice, born in 1850. Both girls were educated at Miss Porter's school in Farmington, Connecticut. In 1775, in March, their father Joseph passed away. This was a great tragedy for the family. They were very close, and the Reverend Eldridge had been the esteemed minister of our church for over 45 years. Later that year, we don't know if this was pre-planned or came as a result of the loss in the family, but Alice and Isabella embark on a European voyage with their aunt Urania. We know this for a fact. It's recorded in Sarah Eldridge's journal, which we have here in our collection. And we have copies of the passports of Isabella and Alice and her aunt and their cousin Anna. So the women went off on a grand European voyage. It's during this trip that Alice and Isabella must have visited the esteemed House of Worth. They were wealthy young women at the time. They were aged 26 and 24 at the time of their father's death. They would have, of course, been in mourning for a full year following his death, and they most likely ordered some mourning garments from the House of Worth. They were young and fashionable after all, so they would have wanted to have toured Europe looking their finest. Once you were a client of the House of Worth, your measurements were kept on file, and you could write to the atelier and have a gown made for an event. We're very lucky to have had a Worth gown in our collection. This was donated to the museum in 1977 by the Griswold family. They were the descendants of the Eldridges. In fact, they were Alice's descendants. They had kept in a trunk for over almost a century these beautiful gowns that belonged to Isabella. Isabella was the founder of our Norfolk library, which she built in 1888 and opened the library to great fanfare in 1889. She didn't wear this gown that we're about to show you, but she had this gown 10 years prior, so the date of the Worth gown we're exhibiting today for the first time is 1876, right at the time of the Centennial. The Centennial was a great celebration for the United States, 100 years, and all kinds of festivities were planned. There was a great exhibition in Philadelphia, and we know for a fact that Isabella, Alice, and their mother Sarah attended this exhibition. So it's quite likely that these gowns were created for parties and events in Philadelphia. So this is Isabella Eldridge's Worth ball gown, as we said, created in 1876. Worth has created this beautiful gown. We know that Isabella was a very reserved individual, and he's created this beautiful ball gown for her in very simple tones of cream and ecru. He's combined really a brilliant use of fabrics. The body of the dress is made out of a silk brocade in a gold and cream tone, and he's brilliantly paired it with this beautiful embroidered Indian batiste cotton that he's layered and draped over this bodice. As you can see, Isabella was a very tiny woman. Her passport states that she was 4 foot 10 3/4 inches tall. And I can tell you she has about a 23-inch waist here on this gown. He's also added beautiful needle lace in flounces and layers. And then the piece de resistance for this gown is the beautiful multi layers of pearls that have been stitched into place to frame the angelic face of Isabella. Alice's Worth gown, on the other hand, is quite a different story. This beautiful azalea pink file is the main fabric for this beautiful dinner dress. A dinner dress differs a little bit from the ball gown we saw earlier, and that would have a much longer train. So this dress was meant really for being in a parlor or salon and perhaps seated at the table. You weren't dancing in this gown. Alice's dress didn't have the same loving care for the past 45 years that Isabella's did. As I mentioned, the family had donated Isabella's gowns to the museum in 1977. This gown was retained by the family and unfortunately was stored in a trunk in an area where there was a pipe burst and water damage occurred. When the family was clearing out the homestead in 2020, They opened up this trunk and found the gown inside in rather bad shape. There was rampant mold and mildew. Some of the fabrics had deteriorated, and it really looked to be quite unsavable. Fortunately, though I persuaded them that I could perhaps rescue this gown, and the gown was given to the museum. And the last several years we've been working on restoring this garment. As I said, it had severe mold and mildew damage to the gown. Some of the conservation that's taken place, we've recreated some of the front of the skirt using original materials, or original like materials. So a silk black netting was found and resourced, as well as a silk crepeline. A Norfolk friend and museum patron was kind enough to donate the matching lace that had been removed from the collar of this dress. The dress is quite striking in its sparkle. I'm hoping you can see that in this video. If I jump on the floor a little bit, you might see it move. The beadwork on here is a series of little glass beads lined in silver, and what you're really seeing sparkle are sequins that are made out of abalone shell. So the shells are put into a machine, pressed, circles are drilled or pressed, and then they come off like shale and create these little sequins that are all then hand-stitched to the black lace detail, which creates the striking effect of this gown. One can only imagine Alice entering the dining room or the candlelit room wearing this gown, and what an impact she would have made. Rounding out the exhibition are two additional gowns that belonged to this same family. The 1920s beaded gown you see here belonged to Alice as well. So we have these two garments 50 years apart, 1876 and 1922. We have a photograph of Alice in this gown, dated 1922, taken in London. She was 70 years old at the time. Next to this gown is that of her great-granddaughter, Alice Bradford Griswold, otherwise known as Abby. Abby wore this dress in 1972 to her coming out party in New York City. So we've got another 50 years between these two gowns, and again completing the 200 years of textiles from the Eldridge family. And for additional information on the Battelle family, our book is available on our website, norfolkhistoricalsociety.org, in the Magnificent Battelles, an Architectural Legacy. Well, thanks for joining us today on our little video presentation of the Romance of Worth, the Eldridge sisters and the Centennial.